It feels really good to be back.
We're
back.
We have a little bear cub here.
With a baby.
We have another very exciting development that we are stoked about. If you know, you know.
Excuse me, sir. Are you working hard or hardly working, sir? Melissa on the roof to unplug the Starlink because she's not pregnant anymore and she can do things. In other news, we have a kind of a sad update. We're back!
We have a little bear cub here.
With a baby.
We've been a little busy.
We've been a little busy, but we are back and it feels really freaking good. Alright guys, so we've been extremely busy. Obviously, you know, we have a baby now. His name is Lincoln. Lincoln is doing quite well. This video is gonna have a lot of different things in it because we are getting ready to go back on the road and we've had a lot of life changes recently and we got a lot going on.
We obviously welcomed Lincoln into the world, which we have a whole video about that whole experience if you want to watch that.
It was awesome.
And we've just been spending the last month, you know, adapting to life with him, and you know, he's moved into the RV and everything, so we've been getting ourselves situated and just taking care of this little guy. He's a month old now. Oh, he has something to say. He wants to say hi.
Yeah, having a baby really changes your perspective on life. We've literally been obviously taking care of him, but also just like staring at him. Like we'll watch TV when realistically we're just sitting there staring at him and not really paying attention to the show. It's weird. If you have a kid, you understand. In other news, we have a kind of a sad update. Blue, our 13-year-old Labrador Retriever, is no longer with us. I don't know if you guys know, but for the past 2 years, about 2 years ago, he had a pretty bad injury in his back end. He actually was paralyzed completely in his 2 back legs, and then over the course of 2 years, he slowly gained about 80% back.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad spinal injury.
So he was able to kind of walk around slowly, but that was, like I said, 2 years ago, and then it's just slowly progressed and got worse, and unfortunately we felt like it was time to put him down. That sucked. He did get to meet Lincoln, which was cool, but we just started to notice that he wasn't enjoying life as much as he did before. He wasn't enjoying his typical activities, so unfortunately it's just me, Melissa, Zamboni, and Lincoln.
Yeah. His quality of life had been suffering for quite a while, and you know, unfortunately the writing was on the wall and it was time for us to let him go.
But he had probably the best life ever. He literally probably traveled than most people ever do in their entire life. He
went to so many different states. I think
countries,
like 30 states. He went to Canada and Mexico.
Very active. He's been all over, so he had a great life, and we were happy to give him a good life. And now I guess we're just gonna go down on the road without him, unfortunately.
His spirit lives on in Lincoln.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna go with all dogs go to heaven.
So, you know, as you do with your pets, we've got all sorts of fun nicknames for Lincoln that have developed over the last month of life with him. His name is Lincoln Everett, and we call him Lincoln Bear, which then evolved into Lincoln Bear Cub, and then Cub, and now usually it's just Cubby. Little Cubby boy! Also, another one is Babe Lincoln.
Sometimes we call him Monkey.
Monkey, because he looks like a little monkey. I call him Bubba.
You call him Bubba for some reason.
I don't know.
So basically his name is Lincoln Everett, Bubba, Monkey, Bear Cub, Cubby,
Cubward,
Cubberson.
I think Cub.
It's really bad. He's really going to be confused, guys. We're not good at this parenting. We were all nervous. We told you guys we were nervous with this parenting.
I'm going to call it right now. I guarantee you his first word is going to be Cub.
No.
Or Cubby, because we say it all the time. I guarantee it. You heard it here first.
So, we've been semi-stationary for a while, and we're super excited to get back on the road. We plan on leaving in about 2 weeks, roughly, give or take. We don't really have a date per se. But anyways, as usual, we typically use my parents' house, our home base, as a launching point and as a project point. So we are doing a few more things. One of the ones we're super excited about is a battery upgrade. You guys know that we did a huge solar system. We did 2190 watts. We did 2 3000 watt Victron inverters, 3 charge controllers, and we had 300 amp hours of lithium ion batteries. But we're so excited. Partnered with Enduro Power, and we are going to be installing 2 300 amp hour lithium batteries, and it is so exciting.
We are so excited for this upgrade. Let's show you more.
So here are our 2 300 amp hours. So we're gonna have a total of 600 amp hours. This is how they come. Kind of show you the shipping. They come with a little guide, and I ended up moving all of the M8 bolts into one battery. What's really cool is that they give you multiple lengths of M8 bolts in case you need to add multiple jumpers or cable ends onto the batteries, so that's nice. They come super padded. The boxes have nice handles, which is just kind of a nice feature. And what you're all looking for, bam. So it's 12 volt, 300 amp hour. Like I said, these take M8 bolts, which are really nice because they're thick, they're strong. It's equivalent to like a 1/2 inch bolt, metric size. So let's see. So this model is the EN300 Baja. 12.8 volt, 300 amp hours, 3840 watt hours, continuous discharge, 250 amps, series or parallel, and low temperature protection. These are awesome. All right, so one of the reasons we really loved what Enduro is doing, love what Enduro is doing, is because they offer multiple sizes. They have 100 amp hour batteries, 200 amp hour batteries, 300 amp hour batteries, and I believe they have like 50 amp hours. They have smaller motors as well for like little fishing boats, fishing kayaks, stuff like that. But why we like that is because it's less connections, which could equal failures if you don't have those connected tightly. If you're jumping, let's say 6 100 amp hour batteries together. And then also it's gonna be less weight because you're gonna have less jumper cables. We needed longer jumper cables, but we're gonna have less of them, and that saves on a weight saving. And to comparable other brands, Enduro Power's case is 25% smaller. So other 300 amp hour batteries, I think there's a couple companies that make them. This is gonna be a slightly smaller footprint, which is nice because space and weight is always huge in the RV world. You guys know that. So we went ahead and picked up some new jumper cables from, what is it called? Windy Nation. They sell on Amazon. I bought a lot of stuff from them before. These were all pre-made, which is nice, and you can select everything that you need. We'll link these below as well. I debated buying a crimper and doing it all myself, but then it's like, once we have these in, we're probably not gonna be changing anything for quite a while. So it was easier to buy these done. And I needed some shorter ones as well. These are 4/0. That's what we have in there for some of it, but we needed different lengths.
Now Jesse gets to do the fun part of emptying out the underbelly in 100-degree weather while I take care of Lincoln.
Ha ha ha.
A few moments later.
Okay. That was actually pretty quick. We have kind of our bigger, heavier items up front. This should be pretty easy. I mean, basically, we have battery shutoffs wired in. We're gonna shut off our battery shutoffs, take out the old batteries, put the new batteries in, get them wired up, turn on the shutoffs, and then that's it, really. But just want to show you guys this because it's so exciting. So, one shut off. Two shut off. Okay. Now we are safe to disconnect our batteries. Don't have to get in here. So these are obviously a little bit heavier, but that's because they're 300 amp hours. I do really like the handles too. They're simple, yet very effective.
Pro tip, if you ever want to know how much something weighs, just check the tracking label on the box. These are 65 pounds ship weight, so subtract like 2 ounces for the cardboard box. How's it going in there, dear?
Going, it's hot.
It is a toasty one today, man.
We gotta get this done.
Yeah, because we're heading out on the road in maybe about 2 more weeks, so we gotta finish up all these last projects. And Jesse's finishing up rewiring these new batteries, and then he's gonna turn the system back on and make sure it works. And hopefully everything's good. It's pretty straightforward.
All right, we got everything hooked up, hopefully the right way. We are not solar geniuses. That's why we had Nomad Mods do our install, but I felt like I could tackle this. Pretty sure everything's hooked up correctly. Now we're just gonna flip our switches back on, which we got one here, then we got one here. Oh gosh, oh gosh. I'm scared because I don't know what I'm doing. And we'll give this system a second, and it's making all sorts of noises, and it's powering up. And then we're gonna go ahead and go in our Victron app and change the amp hours, because we had 300 before, now we need to have 600. So then it knows what we're pulling, what we're using. But we're super excited about these batteries, and we're gonna keep you guys updated on how they perform and everything like that, and how we like them, and go from there.
We have another very exciting development that we are stoked about. If you know, you know. We finally got ourselves a Starlink. The company has recently released the RV and portability feature, so it's easier to travel with, and we bought that unit secondhand from a friend, and we're working on getting it set up with the service, and we are working on figuring out where we're going to mount the dish and how we're going to use that while we're on the road. We have a few options in mind, potentially attaching some sort of pole or rod to our ladder that can extend. What else do we have going on?
We're going to show them today. We're going to show them how we're going to store it. Not our idea. We found this Husky tote. It's a 12-gallon tote. I'm really sweaty, but we found a tote online, and you trim the original packaging, and it fits in there like perfectly. So it's fairly inexpensive. Keeps the actual dish itself safe, and obviously now we have the power for it thanks to Enduro batteries.
So we didn't really want to set up our Starlink satellite to be mounted to anything like outside of the rig while we're on travel days. So we picked up this Husky storage container from Home Depot, and we're actually taking the insert from the shipping box from Starlink, and we're going to modify this. We're going to cut out part of it so that it nests in here really nicely, and then we can set the Starlink satellite in here and then put the other cover on top of it as well for travel days, so it doesn't get all jostled around.
It should fit nicely. So this is not our idea. We saw this on the old interwebs, but basically this is where the Starlink would sit face down, and then your pole stand would come out of here. So we're going to trim this. This is where your router would go, but we don't need that because the router is going to live inside the RV. So we're going to trim this right here all the way around, and then we're going to drop it into the box to create more space, more depth. So I made a little black line right there so you could kind of see where we're going to trim it. It's mostly for you guys, easier to see on camera. And we're going to be keeping the outer ring. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that and then show you how it looks inside the box. Okay, so this is what your cut piece looks like. This is the piece that you need. Then you're going to take your instructions, your quick setup instructions that came with your Starlink, and it's going to fit right in there, and it's going to kind of help hold this plastic in place. Then take your Starlink, put your cover on it. You're going to put it in there face down. It fits in there nicely, and this is where, as far as I can show you guys, because unfortunately I didn't put mine in stow mode. If it were in stow mode, you can tell it would be swiveled down quite a bit. It would be more like here. And then we could put this on top and it would fit nicely. And then you can take your original packaging from the top and put it on there. And I promise you, when you have it in stow mode, this goes down completely, and then you can put your clear lid on, you can put your cords on top, everything is all in one place. So I have a couple other mods that I'm gonna do because we're gonna permanently mount our router inside, and we're gonna permanently have our cord mounted and probably ran through our underbelly and then stored in a really cool place. I think it's gonna be a sweet solution. So we basically ran our cord, right now it's just up there, but we ran our cord from our cabinet and it comes out from our underbelly and I have all the extra cord just hanging right here. So I don't really like that for two reasons. When we take the Starlink down, there's an airplane. When we take the Starlink down, the end, the plug, is going to be exposed to the elements, exposed to the weather. And then also, I just want to try and keep this cord as nice as possible. I know that Starlink is waterproof, it's weatherproof, all that, when it's plugged in, but I want to try and keep it as nice as possible. My thought is, I got this case here. This is a waterproof, dustproof, all that case. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna coil up my cord and it's gonna go in this box. And I also got a waterproof pass-through that I'm gonna install into the case. Bam, like so. So that's gonna be attached right there. And then this case, what I think I'm gonna do with the case is I think I'm gonna attach it to the ladder. So the case is gonna be bolted right there to the ladder, and then the cord will go in there. And when we get to a spot, we basically open up the case and pull out the cord, and we can put the Starlink wherever we want. We can put it on the roof of the RV. We can run it out into a big open field because you don't want obstructions. And that way it gives us versatility, and yet everything is being protected and it's all sealed from the weather. And then obviously the Starlink will go back in the tow. In my head, it makes sense. And then I'll show you guys inside where we put the router and how we ran the cord and all that, as well as a few other things that are final last details before we get on the road here in about a week and a half.
Rolling.
So I got a lovely camera lady to help me out.
Hi.
So we installed this pass-through, which is waterproof. Basically, you screw in the 4 screws, and then they give you different size pipes, and that is to put your hole through the rubber, and then you slice it, and then there's a cover that goes over this. So we're gonna figure out which one is the closest to the Starlink cable. We're gonna drill our hole, then you unscrew this, you pull this rubber piece out, you put a little slit in it so you can get the cable over it, and then you screw it all down tight, and it's waterproof. And then they also recommend a little bit of sealant, but we'll see. So for us, it looks like it's gonna be the medium tube. And what I like to do is just kind of line it up, and then you can look past it side by side and tell that that's gonna be the closest one. Obviously this is too small, and this is probably too big, because you want it nice and firm.
So basically the idea that we are executing is we have taken this box and mounted it to our ladder using these U-shaped bolts. And the idea is that we are going to basically curl up the cord and store it inside here on travel days. And then when we get to a new location, we'll just open it up, throw the cord out however long we need it to be, in case we need to like put the Starlink in the middle of a field or kind of like a bit further out from where our rig is actually parked in order to get the best signal. We didn't want to have to pull the cord out every single time, so this is kind of our solution for storing it on the outside of the rig rather than taking it out and setting the whole thing up and running it through. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
It's true. In some instances.
May not have done a sufficient coiling job.
Okay, so yes, Melissa didn't coil it quite tight enough, and I don't know what's going on in here. Tangled on baby diapers. But anyways, this is gonna be, you guys get the idea. I'm not gonna do it right now. But this is gonna be coiled up tightly. Our end in here, this is waterproof. We're gonna close it, and this box is just gonna live on the back ladder. When we get to a spot, we open up the box. We got all this cable. We'll plug in our Starlink. Pretty easy. I couldn't think of a better way, because if you could tell right here, that's going into our underbelly. So that runs into the underbelly, so we can have it all wired and plugged in, and then maybe we should go inside and show them where we mounted the router and kind of how the cables all through our cabinets and stuff like that. So, first of all, sleeping baby. We're doing our best to be those parents that just do whatever and just like hope that that he just adapts to noise and stuff, like slamming the door, talking around him, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we just have to remember not to trip on his
don't
little
trip
chair.
on the sleeping baby. Turn on his rocker. There you go, bud. So inside, we typically mount our routers behind the TV because it's wasted space and it's close to the TV for streaming, stuff like that. And then we typically work at the desk here, the dinette. So we have, well, I'm gonna come around this way.
JK, come
So
over here.
we have our Starlink router right here, and then basically that cable runs down through this cabinet, past here, all the way down through here, out the floor, and then out the underbelly, out the back. And we did that because I didn't want to have a cable running through like a window or having to leave the door open or whatever. We wanted a semi-permanent cable, and if the cable ever gets damaged, at least now it's already ran, so I can just tape them together, pull the old one out, pull the new one in, so it'll be easy. Hopefully it doesn't get damaged. But that's where the router lives. We also have our Mophie 4500. We'll link everything in the description below, but that's where our routers live. It's a good spot for us. That's it on Starlink. We'll probably do a full video later on, like what we think of it, all that. If you haven't heard of it, you know, it's the next best thing since sliced bread. But anyways, that's it for that.
So the next thing we want to update you guys on is how the RV is with Lincoln's whole setup, how that's going, living in an RV with a new baby, our first baby.
In case you guys don't know, like, we had a baby. His name is Lincoln.
He is sleeping right there. And, you know, there's just like baby bottles and all sorts of things just strewn about.
We're just going to show you guys right now. This stuff is just going to always like be in the background. We're going to do our best to keep our home clean, but like, honestly, when you're exhausted, when you're tired, you know, it just...
Burp claws, pacifiers, you know, all the things.
And if you see like us in other videos, we're like mountain biking and you just see a binky just like clipped right here. That's just because we forgot and left it.
Mom and dad life. But basically we have his room kind of set up in our bunk area for now. This is where we change him. So this is like our changing table / bed. This is a little travel bassinet that we're using for the time being. And then there's like a ton of storage under here for like books and some other random things for the time being. And we have this nice beautiful curtain up here kind of hiding some of the other stuff. Diaper bags, extra diapers.
Yes, and in a previous video we talked about doing something with this, remember, because we cut this bunk bed out.
Yeah.
And we ended up putting this really cool fabric on it. We just use Elmer's glue and it works amazing, and it just kind of cleaned it up and finished it off.
Yeah, so it's a little bit chaotic for some of the things, but we're still getting it situated. I think
I'm pretty
is working.
happy with it so far.
Yeah.
I don't really have any complaints.
No, it's working well so far, and we got like a shelf system for all of his clothes in here, and then we have some drawers down there. This is our diaper drawer. Works pretty well. And then really the last couple things that we have for him. Oh, I do really like this bouncer that he's in. Ingenuity Smart Bouncer. He didn't like it at first, but he's been taking naps in here the past couple days and it seems to be going well. He's so cute. And what other things do we have for him? Oh, we got a bottle warmer. Really not necessary, but it's really nice to have. We've got one of these like Boone grass drying rags for all the pump parts and all the bottles.
Oh, shout out to Kristen and Jameson Perpetual Moves for that. They said they use that one in their RV and they don't even have a kid. They're like, we just like it as a drying rack. So.
Yeah, I didn't really think it was going to be necessary, but I'm so glad we have it.
Really
so
nice. It's really nice.
Good call, guys. And then
the bedroom, the last kind of thing that we have here is we have a bedside bassinet, which has been pretty nice overall. I mean, he typically sleeps here at night. He sleeps pretty good. We're pretty freaking spoiled with this child, I think. He's sleeping anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. A lot of the times it's 5 hours at night, 3 hours during the day, and his naps and stuff like that.
yeah, he gets a really good long stretch almost every night, so we've been really fortunate.
Oh,
Oh, go grab that camera.
Camera?
Yeah, go grab it real quick. One other thing that we absolutely love is the Nanit camera. We have multiple stands. So we've got one here in our bedroom and then one in his bedroom, which he's not sleeping in yet. He's in here.
But it's nice, so you can just unplug the head and move it to the other stand. And Melissa actually just found out today that all it needs is a USB-C, and it's powered on, and then it just all goes to your phone. So
yeah, so we can kind of set it up wherever we want.
yeah, he was in his bouncer, and we were working outside, so we had it set up there so we could see him. But
Yeah. That thing is awesome. We are not sponsored. Wish we were. We've been super happy with the Nanit so far. It's pretty cool because you can kind of like you can view a nightly recap of all of the things that happened, like when he fell asleep, what time he woke up, like
all that mommy stuff, all that mommy data. You know, when I'm talking about the Jeep and horsepower and long travel and all that, that's like
yeah. I mean, it's just
Lincoln is your Jeep.
basically. It's just nice for me to be able to see like. Once we set him down in his bassinet, how long did it take for him to fall asleep on his own?
Yeah.
Mommy stuff like that.
So, overall, it's going really well with Lincoln. In about a week and a half here, we plan on getting back on the road full time for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And we say back on the road, like we're just not going to be at our home base. And I think it will be good. I think it'll be fine. It's going to be an adjustment. We plan on moving a little slower, obviously because of him, but also because of the fuel costs. And yeah, this is just kind of some last minute stuff that we're trying to get done before we move on down the road.
Yeah, we've got a couple more doctor's appointments for me and for Lincoln, and then we're gonna head back out on the road. Travel days should be interesting. We're gonna try to work around a nap schedule that isn't a predictable schedule at all yet. So we'll figure it out.
But we're excited for this next new chapter, and we're glad to have you guys following along. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And like always, thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
I'm crying because I am a little sad to be leaving our hometown and our friends and family.